And we are going to be talking about fucking Disney. That's what we are. We went to,
Where, oh, and then they were like,
See, Lola,
so yeah, man. Today
we are going to be talking about mega content.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, but who the hell cares about wildlife anyway?
Right.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerd Archive podcast. My name is Luis, and as always, we have Yadi, Lola, Justin, and we have a special guest today. He is my cousin. He is, I don't know, he's a lot of things. He's a great father. Luis. Not me, Luis, but him, Luis. There's a lot of Lewises in my family, so
There's too many.
Just strap on. I mean, all right.
calm down there.
It happens. With that being said, before we get started, we're going to jump right in to the previously on, and then we're going to do the nerdy quote of the week, and we're going to let Luis talk about himself a little bit, and then main course, episode 3, Secret Invasions. So let's get started. Here we go.
What's going on, nerds? This is Ryan. Previously on the Nerd Archive podcast, Lewis is so bad at the nerdy quote game, he tried to take it from Justin. He uses a quote from the most boring superhero movie ever made, and then he does get a point on the real quote game. The nerds talk about Secret Invasion, episode 2. I think Secret Invasion is what Sarah's doing to Lewis's butt in the middle of the night. That's why he wakes up with his butt hurting. Lewis apparently didn't plan out anything for the second half of the episode, so he randomly starts talking about bleaching his penis. To make it look bigger or something? On a positive note, since his penis is white, his penis now has a higher credit score than he does. And lastly, Lewis asked me to tell him something about myself that he doesn't already know. One thing is, last week I went into a bathroom and spit on the floor right before this other asshole went in there to take a dump. Let's see what the nerds get into this week.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Ryan is in the chat. Sophisticated Gentleman is also in the chat. Hey, listen, for those that don't know what he's talking about, the spitting, I went on a rant because at work I went to use the bathroom and someone spit on the floor at a restaurant. So I went on. If you want to hear that rant, make sure you tune in to the last episode 54, 55. I don't know, last episode. All right. With that being said, Luis, my guy.
What's up?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I know you are a closet nerd.
Mm-mm.
So
Well, I don't know how closeted I am, but I'm
that's a big
Yeah.
closet.
No, yeah, I love I grew up watching the Marvel animated series, Spider-Man, X-Men, Wolverine was one of my favorite characters growing up. My younger brother, he got really into Transformers, and he got me into Transformers. Lewis actually got me into Dragon Ball. We were just talking about that too. So I have an appreciation of the arts. I got an appreciation of of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. And but my favorite comic books, I think, were DC comic books, which unfortunately, Warner Brothers hasn't done the greatest job bringing those characters to life. But I'm not salty or anything.
No, that's the understatement of the year, dude.
So anyway, but I that's what I do for entertainment. That's what I love to watch. I love to read. So I'm just honored to be here with you guys.
Perfect. You also bleed Star Wars.
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I love Star Wars. I think it's one of the greatest stories ever told. That's right. The original series, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. Second is Return of the Jedi. So anyway, I love Star Wars. I love the Mandalorian. I think it's a great show. I'm super excited for Ahsoka coming out. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled with what Lucasfilm is doing with the shows, particularly. I think that's the future of Star Wars. It's just shows. I'm kind of tired of the movies, to be honest. I think that don't continue ruining them because I got to stay a fan.
Right.
Can't blame you there.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that if they were going to do movies, we need to steer away from the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's just go on to keep with the Jedi and the Force users and lightsabers. Please don't steer away from that. But Skywalker saga, 9 movies. Okay, fantastic. Moving on.
Well, I mean, they have this massive universe that they can go with, and they have all this content that they can draw from. Like, there's so many different ideas that they can come up with. Like you said, get away from the Skywalker saga. Give other characters, give other, stories a chance to be told.
Right.
Just do it right.
I completely agree. Ryan said, I think I have a new favorite Lewis. Ryan, anybody for you is a new favorite Lewis, even if they're not Lewis. And Sophisticated Gentleman said, let's get a Greedo movie. Why not?
Sure.
Could be interesting.
Sure. I think they should do some of the old Republic movies.
I agree.
Knights of the Old Republic. I would watch the hell out of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I want to see Darth Revan.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So
he's
anyway,
one of my favorite characters that has never been on screen, only on video games.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Lewis. Thank you for introducing yourself. Now, main course. It is not. We are going to go into the nerdy quote of the week. Justin, please take it away. I almost forgot. Shut the fuck up. Just move on.
I was gonna say.
Someone else to beat me. I don't want this.
He's already got it covered. He beat me to it. It's all good. That's right, everybody. Time once again for another fun-filled edition of. Where's that button? There it is. Nerdy quote of the week. This is the segment where I test the host's nerdy knowledge with one quote from a movie or series. Lewis's favorite segment of in the entire world.
My butt hurts every time.
Oh man, yeah, gotta love it. All right, so this week's quote is a bit of a mismatch with the theme of the episode. We're gonna be going with a bit of Marvel. All right. So here we go. Shakespeare in the Park. Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
That is Iron Man.
Man.
Thor in the first Avengers.
All right, there's Lewis, or the first Lewis.
For this episode's sake, why don't we call me Luis? We call me Luis, and you can call him Lewis. How about that?
Okay.
That way people don't get confused.
Well,
they will be confused anyways.
It's all good. Well, Luis, your turn then.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
The first Avengers movie when Iron Man fights Thor for the first time in the forest. They tear down a couple trees.
Just a couple.
All good. Lola.
Iron Man to Thor in the first Avengers.
All right. Yadi.
Or listen this from Iron Man's in the first Avenger movie.
Ryan says Chewie in the Christmas special.
That's right, Ryan. Every answer is the Christmas special, and every answer is right.
Next week we should do it, and then him answer something else.
That'd be some interesting shit. All right, so that quote was stated by Tony Stark addressing Thor in Marvel's Avengers. So everybody gets 2 points for that one. So yeah, that ends this week's nerdy quote of the week. The scores now stand at Lola still with the lead at 28 points. Yadi close behind with 22, and Lewis, as always, holding up the rear with 19 points.
Luis is
And
Luis
with 2 points.
and he's closer to beating me anyways.
I'm getting close, y'all.
Shit. Your first game and you get 2 points right off the bat. I didn't get 2 points until I answered
This
6
one?
questions. All right. Thank you, Justin, for that amazing quote of the week. It's one of my favorite lines in the MCU. The first time I heard that, I'm like, yo, this is going to be a great movie.
Dude, every Tony Stark quote in the MCU that I've heard is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Of how he is. It's great.
Yes, it is. All right.
When I saw those characters come together for the first time in the trailer, I almost pissed my pants. I was so excited. I was so freaking excited to see Thor, Iron Man. People don't get it. People don't get, seeing these characters alive, and when we grew up with them, it baffled my brain.
Oh yeah.
It's what DC hasn't done yet.
Gosh darn it.
All right,
DC seems to be having a hard time making their cinematic universe work, and I'm hoping that James Gunn can turn it around.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think he will.
Sophisticated Gentleman says, my favorite Tony Stark quote is, "Hi, I'm Tony Stark, a classic." All right, so moving on to the main course. Episode 3, Secret Invasion. So far, even though it was a slow episode, it was the best one yet, because they showed us a lot of conflict between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
it confirmed something we said in the last episode too.
Correct. It did. Yes, Ryan, you have to leave again. We told you last week, and it's the first segment. We told you last week that you have to watch the episode. We give you almost a week.
He did see it. Didn't he watch it because he posted something on the Discord that says something about being the most boring episode?
I think it was Sophisticated that posted that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wrong, Ryan.
One of the Ryans.
Yes. All right. So, what do you guys think of the episode? Let's go with Luis first, since he is our guest.
Sure. I loved the episode. This one had a shorter running time, but it did feel longer because it was kind of slower.
Right.
But man, I love Kingsley Ben Adir as Gravik. I love the guy. He's got such a wide range. If you see any of his other movies, which they're not super known, but any of his other movies or shows that he's done, he just has incredible talent to portray different roles. And I just really like the fact that he comes in and as a person of power from the beginning. I think that was episode 2. When he goes into the council, was that episode 2 or was that episode? They're kind of blending together in my head right now. That was episode 2.
Yes.
And you kind of go in with this feeling that he's kind of like in trouble with all these councilmen. And all of a sudden, you just feel the power of how he has control over all these different things. And I think it just sets up the series really well for the Secret Invasion. I like Rhodey and how he choose Nick Fury's ass. Straight up fires him. I think that brings realness to the series, as well as like there's conflict within each other, and I think Marvel has done a great job with that, being able to manage the conflict between characters and stuff. But I thought it was a solid episode. The episode's title was Betrayed,
Right.
and you feel that throughout the episode. They did a great job.
I agree. And piggybacking on the Rhodey episode, the last episode, do y'all notice that he called him Nick? And everyone in the MCU that's ever called him Nick is not really them. And they
Remember
actually
when I
yes,
said
that's
I'm
in
pretty
the-
sure? I think he's a Skrull, and you guys were like, maybe.
No, I correct. But then I rewatched the episode and that scene, he said Nick, and I'm like, right there. It threw me off because, and then on this episode, what's his face? Talos calls him Nick because it was code for there's something wrong, and that's how he was able to manage to kind of kidnap the dude, the general or admiral, whatever he is, his son, to leverage, and that clicked when I actually saw episode 3 before I rewatched episode 2, and I'm like, oh snap. So that and I think that there's two theories that I have now. It's the same thing with Talos, that he used it as code for there's something wrong. Maybe Rhodey used it to tell him that there's something wrong. And him firing him is giving him like full force. Like you have like all the power now because you're not being controlled by us. Or he's a scroll and he just gave himself away.
Yeah, I think I like that, Louis. I think that you're spot on. I think that specifically when it comes to, the scrolls are in positions of power. And when you're in positions of power, then if you're working for the powerful men, and I see that a lot of parallels even in politics, right?
Right.
So if you're submitted unto a foreign power, there's not much you can do. But when you're not submitted to that foreign power, then you can rebel, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think you're spot on that.
It's like the Sokovia Accords. They were only able to do whatever they were told to do or follow the rules, but once they were not, then they could do whatever they want and use their power as they best see fit. So I think that seeing Nick, oh man, I'm a scroll. Seeing Fury now. I gave myself away.
You're a scroll.
I got green on my shirt.
Lewis is sus.
Oh man, I'm the imposter.
Hey, but is anybody else freaked out about Nick Fury and the Skrull girlfriend?
His wife?
Yeah, his wife.
Yeah. Well,
she got a weird phone call.
Yes. You can tell that even though Nick Fury is Nick Fury, he still has a human side to him, because she got that weird phone call. She put her phone down and she walked away, and the only thing he could think of was that phone.
He's also a spy, so it's second nature for him at this point.
Pretty much.
I think she left it there on purpose.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. Because if you get a weird call, you're going to take it with you. But she left it there, and maybe if I leave it here, he won't think there's something wrong, or I'm going to leave it here for him to go through it. So we can only assume that he went through it.
Considering who we're talking about, yeah. And my original hypothesis about him not knowing who she actually was kind of pretty much thrown out the window when that third episode started and they were talking. So it's like, okay, he knows that she's a scroll, and so they still, they're still in this relationship. But that phone call and then his reaction to watching that phone, it's like it makes you wonder, is she playing him, or at least playing him to the point where she thinks that he doesn't know? I mean, he's got to.
Right. And the whole conversation, that line that so when the episode starts, we get a flashback of them and how they met, per se.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked him, who are you looking for? How does she look like? And he says, it depends on the day of the week. Because he knows. It sounded like very minuscule. It depends on the day of the week. She could feel this way one day, she can feel that way that other day, but it's more literally, she will look like someone else whenever she wants to. So
anybody else think it'd be awesome to date a scroll? that they could turn into anybody. Sorry, it's a stupid joke.
No, I'm with you. I'm so with you.
There's nothing negative about that.
No, not at all. Although in the middle of it, she turns green. That's
all Louis said.
You got little cue cards with different pictures. He's like, you turn into this, turn into that, turn into this, turn into that.
That'd be fantastic. I'm just gonna keep it that way. Lola, what do you think of the episode?
I liked it. It was very slow, but I liked it. I'm surprised about the ending.
Yes. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Neither was I.
But here I am thinking that whenever someone dies, they're not really them. Fucking trolls. Right.
She's not going to be killed off.
I don't think so either. I don't think Maria's dead either, but we'll see.
Well, there was a teaser from Gaia's actor. I forget her name.
Emilia
teasing
Clarke?
her. Yes.
Yeah, Emilia Clarke, yeah.
Yeah, there was a teaser from her on social media teasing her next role in the MCU. So it makes me wonder, her character probably isn't done, or she's probably got another spot in the MCU somewhere. So who knows? But all in all, I mean, it was a better episode than the first two. It wasn't a huge step up above the first two episodes based on the fact that it was kind of slower paced. And so that, I think, is what lent it to seeming like a longer episode, even though the runtime was a fair bit shorter.
Right. There was a lot more information.
I think they're doing it right. They're slowly building up.
Right.
Well, that's how it honestly, that's how it should be. And you see, and this is another one of those things that I don't get. It's going to kind of delve into a bit of a rant because people are bitching about how the series isn't what they want and it's too slow and blah blah blah. It's like, seriously, no. You have to have something. You have to have this world building kind of series like this, because it can't just be flat out action from the get go. Because then it gets tiring after a while. And it's funny because they said the same thing about Star Wars Andor, and I harp on this a lot because it's like Andor was a slower paced part of the Star Wars world, but in my opinion, it's some of the best stuff they've ever written. Period.
Amen.
And I'm gonna get, and I've said it before, and I'm still gonna get. Come on, guys, catch up.
I haven't seen it.
But
I've seen the first three, and that's it.
I'm gonna get shit from the original trilogy fans from saying it, but I truly believe it's better than literally anything they've written, including the original trilogy.
I wouldn't go that far, but sure.
I would. I would.
It goes,
and that's the thing, though. That's saying a lot because of how well written the Star Wars franchise has been up to a point.
Yeah.
Right. I think that it also goes with the writing and the acting, because A New Hope, it wasn't the best acting. However, they had more experience when it came to Empire, so the acting felt better and the storyline felt better. That's also why I think that the Empire Strikes Back it's the best movie, because of that. The writing and the acting go hand to hand, and we're able to appreciate the art. The first one, obviously, it was the first one and introduced the nerd world to a lot of people. So I think that it's always going to hold a place in our heart because it's the first one. But you can't say a lot that the sequel was better than the original, except for Empire.
I think what makes the original trilogy so wonderful is the element of surprise. We forget that. I mean, Star Wars has entered pop culture in such a way that people know that Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father, and they have never seen the movies, right?
Right.
But in like A New Hope, when Uncle Lars and his wife, what was it, Aunt Beru, when they got burnt alive, he came back and burnt alive, like that was marked the beginning of this kid who still talk like this. You hear him talk like this in the movies,
Right.
You finally see him grow up. Like, no, this is real. Then the next scene is them going to a cantina. Like, it starts getting dark really quick, right? And then you start seeing the element of surprises, like in Empire Strikes Back, finding out that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. The small little glimpse that we see of Yoda,
Spoilers.
which is, oh yeah, of like Yoda towards the end of Empire Strikes Back and just the beginning of the new one. The fact that Yoda, this little green goblin, was the strongest Jedi master, right? Like these things that were like surprise elements that they're no longer surprises because it's so ingrained in pop culture, but people forget how cool that was to find out. I remember watching the movies, and as a little kid, I had the gold edition VHS.
Yep, I still
the
have
the gold edition VHS that my uncle Papote had given me, and just being able to find out those things on my own without knowing any pop culture references blew my mind.
Right.
And I think that's what is missing in every other Star Wars thing, is that element of surprise. And I think they tried to do that in this new trilogy, with Palpatine and spoilers, and and Rey being a Palpatine, right? They tried doing those things, but it just didn't work out as well as the original trilogy.
Not at all.
That's exactly how I feel. We'll go back to Star Wars after the break. Yadi, I still want to hear what you think of this episode.
I thought it was epic when I saw him getting stabbed in the hand, and then his hand, he just like slides it off.
Yep.
And then you can see him using the power of the extremis, and I was like, whoa.
That's another thing that came out of nowhere, and it's like, oh shit.
So we were wondering
when everybody turns
what the fuck we're working on.
Right.
Yeah.
So that list of beings that they had in the first or second episode, we were trying to wonder what they were trying to do.
Yeah, that's a secret
and you said that they were gonna use them to put in their DNA. And you were spot on. You straight up said that, and in this episode they showed that's what they're doing.
Pretty much.
So
basically it confirms the fact that they were trying to figure out a way to make the extremis power work within Skrull DNA, and obviously they figured it out.
They did.
Yeah. And I wonder if he's gonna be the super Skrull, because that's basically the secret recipe they're doing, is to create that.
Right.
And if they end up in this show creating that, he's gonna be the biggest threat to the MCU.
Right.
Yo, I'm so excited to see the Super Skrulls. I am so stoked. So stoked to see the Super Skrulls, man, because I think that we're gonna see some maybe towards the end of Secret Invasion, we're gonna see some big names pop up to fight the Skrulls. I don't know who's coming, but there's just no way they're gonna take on the Super Skrulls with political power. Yeah,
right.
Nick Fury. Hit him with your fake eye, Nick.
In one of our previous episodes, we were talking about the Super Skrull, and because they're talking about taking over the Earth, they as Skrulls, they might be able to take on the humans. Great, but the element of the Avengers, they need something to be able to beat them, and the best way possible is doing the Super Skrulls and using powers of things that they faced in the past, which also gives away how they're going to beat them, because they beat them in the past.
Oh yeah.
So I think that they're giving us what we're expecting and what's going to happen in the future in both ways. How they're going to fight the Avengers, but how the Avengers are going to defeat them as well.
Pretty much, because I think what a lot of them don't realize is that, these guys are strong, and now you're being given their powers, but what you don't realize is that they faced these before. and so they know how to deal with this.
Right. So
how it plays out, it's still anybody's guess.
right. Do you guys have anything else on this episode? What was your favorite part of the episode? Let's go by Luis. Go.
I think my favorite part of the episode was actually the cliffhanger at the end. Talos' daughter. Spoiler
Gaia.
alert. Yeah, Gaia. Allegedly dying.
Right.
I think it's just setting up. Again, the title is Betrayed, so there's so many different elements of betrayal in this episode that I think it's going to set it up well for the next.
Right.
Right now, it's like we don't know what's going to happen because everybody could be a scroll.
Yeah, we don't know
Nobody can be a
what's
scroll.
going to happen.
Yeah.
I
love that
the element
line.
of surprise.
Yeah, and I love that line that Nick Fury said. We don't know who we're fighting. Like,
Right.
we have no idea who we're fighting, and that just gets me excited.
Right.
And considering that there's a million of them on the planet,
Right.
at this point,
Just a few.
And
Just a
many
few.
in powerful places. So
Right.
it's
yes.
yeah.
Lola.
I think my favorite was when his wife got on the phone after she got the what's it called? The lockbox? The Dropbox?
The lockbox.
The lockbox, and she called somebody and they were like, well, now you're dealing with me. Because that sounds like it's his second in command, but it also doesn't. So who's she talking to?
Right. And who doesn't want her to talk to Gravik? It's
Right.
my question.
Right.
So I agree with you. That was good. Yadi.
I mean, that slicing ham part, it's just epic, and everybody turning into Gravik. That
Yes.
was nice.
That was. But
That
also
was
seeing
cool.
Talos, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They all turned fantastic. He looked concerned at first, and then he just, nope, you ain't gonna do this shit. I'm gonna show you exactly who I am.
And what I like about that too is that it's the episode was slow, but it showed how focused and how big Nick Fury's balls are, and
Yeah.
not just Nick's, but Talos's balls. Just being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like just being able to just do that. Like it's when Nick Fury, when he faced Rhodey and like got up close to his face, like, I'm not scared of you, dude.
Right.
So we still haven't seen what they're capable of, and I'm excited to see what they're capable of.
Yes. Justin.
So mine definitely was pretty much the same as Yadi's. Is that whole exchange between Talos and Gravik, where you see they all turn into him, and then you see him stab him in the hand, and then that revelation where he has the extremis powers, which, I mean, dude, my reaction was like, oh shit. And then my mind went back on, what we talked about last week when you said what you said, and I'm just like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then, like Luis was saying, the exchange between Fury and Rhodey, and like that little bit at the end where he's like right up in his face, and he's like, I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in.
Yeah,
like,
that was so great.
I'm
But-
like, Fury's back.
But here's the beautiful thing that he acts that way, but you can tell as soon as he leaves, he's scared shitless because he sits down and he's like, "What the fuck am I going to do?"
Yeah.
So seeing that, like, he will bluff you to the end, but as soon as he's by himself, he's like, "What the hell am I going to do now?"
Mm.
So that's interesting. That's interesting.
And we're seeing a really human element to Nick Fury.
right.
Which is something that you don't see too often.
No.
My favorite part was obviously the whole Gravik and Talos, but the whole exchange when they are in this admiral's house and you see Talos, he feels guilty for everything that's happening, especially when this other scroll is telling him, we could follow you to the end, but you chose not to. You chose not to do this. So now we're not going to follow you. You think you're going to tell us what to do now? We're not going to follow you. And Talos' response is, okay, I'm going to shoot you in the chest. You're dead. So seeing that and seeing, okay, he figured out a way to do it, but also put his daughter in harm's way. So that is his decision painted the faith for his daughter. So that right there is like, fuck. And I can only imagine what the rest of the episodes are going to be.
Yeah, once he learns what happened, if
Right.
it happened.
Oh,
right?
he's
But-
going to learn.
Oh, he'll find out. There's no doubt.
And am I the only one that thinks that there's going to be a fight between Gravik and Talos?
Oh yeah,
And Talos is going to take all the experiments and he's going to become a Super Skrull to fight Gravik?
I
It
don't
could
know
be.
how it would do
I
that,
mean,
but yeah.
One way or another, it's going to be fucking scorched earth, especially when he finds out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're trying to shoot down planes and start a nuclear war. So, I mean,
right.
Some type of explosion is about to happen.
Some shit.
Well, no,
right.
I mean that obviously, but yeah, I'm talking about Talos's mental state when he finds out that Gaia is shot, or might actually be dead. Like as soon as he finds out, he's going on the warpath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that he will infiltrate and then he jumps into the machine and gets some power or some sort.
I think that's or he's going to get into a fight with Gravik in there and the machine's going to be going. He's going to be thrown in it by mistake and he's going to get all these powers and then it's going to be the end of the episode and the new episode is going to be them fighting like Super Skrulls.
And then he turns into Captain America.
He starts turning into different ones.
He gets all buff and tall, just a green buff guy.
That's funny. All right. So if you guys don't have anything else on this episode, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we are going to tell you guys, each one of us are going to talk about who our favorite Star Wars characters are and why, and also our favorite villain from the nerd world and why. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Scroll smash.
I think I got that on the Welcome back to the Nerd Archive podcast. We were just talking about the Secret Invasion episode 3. We broke it down for you. We told you what we liked, and there was nothing we didn't like other than it was too slow, but it is what it is. It is weird that I have to explain that to you since it's a podcast, and for you to get here to this point, you had to listen to the beginning. Right. So
Some
now,
people, you never know.
right now, we are going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about our favorite Star Wars character and why, and our favorite villain from the nerd world. It doesn't have to be Star Wars. It could be DC. It could be Marvel, Power Rangers, Dragon Ball. Does not matter. So, again, let's start off with Luis. Who is your favorite character from Star Wars and why?
I got to say my man, Luke Skywalker. I love Luke Skywalker. I think... the reason why I like him so much is because he himself had a battle with the dark side. The fact that, one of my favorite scenes is actually in The Mandalorian when, what's his name? The general guy.
Moff Gideon.
In the season 1, towards the end, where he sees Luke Skywalker basically destroy all his Death Troopers. But if you really think about it, Luke Skywalker was like an urban legend to all these leaders of the Empire.
Right.
He was in a room by himself with Darth Vader and Palpatine. Palpatine didn't make it, and Darth Vader was dying.
He was carried out.
He was carried out by Luke Skywalker. So just think about how the fear that he strikes into the Empire's heart.
Right.
Destroying the 2 greatest Sith Lords, right? So I just love his character development from being this naive farmer kid, to becoming this urban legend, that changed the fate of the galaxy. So that's why I love Luke Skywalker.
I agree. Luke Skywalker holds a dear spot in my heart, but to me, he's not my favorite. Lola, who do you have?
Our favorite, Anakin Skywalker, obviously.
Of course, obvious reasons.
Second favorite, Padme.
Obvious reasons.
Oh, the love story!
But Clone Wars Padme, not movie Padme. Movie Padme can suck it. Although she's really...
She was watered down, like we talked about.
She was watered down by a lot, and but she did have some
twins,
banging outfits.
And died.
And died. But yeah, Anakin Skywalker.
Why?
Why? Why not? Have you seen him? Have you heard him?
So
do you know his story?
So your favorite character
really
is Hayden Christensen, not Luke or not Anakin. Sounds good.
No. My favorite actor, Hayden Christensen. My favorite character from Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker.
It's because you have a picture with him, and he held your hips. That's it.
He did. He touched my lower back. It was great. I live for that moment over and over.
He'd be my favorite character too if he touched my hips.
Right. That's my point.
That's why I love Chewie. What?
But seriously, he's a deeply misunderstood character, and I think again with a little bit of psychology involved there, maybe some therapy, he would have turned out a bit different.
Yes.
I don't know. He had a lot of midichlorians in his blood, guys.
That's also fair.
To me, Yoda. He's my favorite character of all times.
Yeah, Yoda's
he could go ham on anyone, but chooses not to, and that's a really powerful person.
Right. Because he can literally kill anybody.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
That's a mimosa, bro.
Wow. We call those up here in the north bitch beers.
Hey,
It's suitable for the person.
And down here, I had an illegal beer.
There you go.
It's a blur and everything.
It's a Modelo beer.
So illegal.
That puts hair on your chest.
And then the mimosa puts hair on my pussy. Justin, on that note, who's your favorite character?
That was good. That was good.
Not the most terrible segue in the world.
Could be worse.
Let's see here. Go for it.
You should have been with us during our freaking game night yesterday.
Oh man, there's a reason why we don't record those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, going back to my favorite, I think I would have to say Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
Excellent character.
He's always
Daddy
been an
Qui-Gon.
excellent character.
Daddy Qui-Gon!
Yes.
Daddy Qui-Gon.
Yes. Well, I mean, he's always had that that father figure air about him, training,
Yes,
he did.
Obi-Wan. Well, no, and obviously, with him having trained Obi-Wan, and then trying to be that kind of father figure for Anakin when he was just a kid, and even though not being able to train him, and then being cut down way before his time, I believe, like he was taken out way too early, and I'd love to see like a
what if?
I wouldn't like a multiverse or like a what if, what could have happened if,
Obi-Wan
Qui-Gon
died
had
instead.
survived. No, we don't want to see Obi-Wan die.
I don't think necessarily Obi-Wan died, but if he was
No.
actually trained by Qui-Gon rather than Obi-Wan.
Exactly. Because you have to assume that a lot of events would have changed and been entirely different from the way they were, had he not died.
Well, that's the thing. The reason I say that Obi-Wan dying instead of him, because there's a the TikTok channel that I follow. His whole channel is about what ifs, and he has one about Qui-Gon surviving but Obi-Wan dying. And he goes into how he thinks that Anakin would have been because it all starts that way. The setup is it starts with Qui-Gon surviving, but it's about Anakin, how he would have been, the type of master that he would have been instead of the one that we got.
The truth is the prequel should have been rewritten.
Right.
Darth Maul was such a badass character, killed. Qui-Gon Jinn, badass character, killed.
Yeah.
It's they did a terrible job. And frankly, I don't think the prequel should have been Anakin's story. I actually think it should have been Obi-Wan Kenobi's story, because he's the one who narrated it in New Hope.
Right.
In New Hope, he there's a chain of events that he starts recapping to Luke, and it would have been awesome to see that the centerpiece be Obi-Wan and how things moved along. And they shouldn't have killed Darth Maul. Darth Maul should have remained the villain throughout the trilogy, and Qui-Gon should have stayed alive. But
right.
Anyway,
I did see a meme that said it was the scene about Leia or baby Leia asking Obi-Wan, "Are you my father?" And he says, "No, I'm not your father, but last time I saw your mom, she was really hot, and so was your dad."
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So
you were the chosen one.
I hate you.
I hate you.
Damn, that was good. All right, so my favorite character is not even in the movies. It's Darth Revan. The whole story behind Darth Revan, and we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
The whole point of Darth Revan being over 600 years old and going from being a Jedi to being in the Jedi task force to being kidnapped by the dark side and turned into the dark side with Darth Malak, and midway he turns on Darth Malak, which was his best friend, because Darth Malak was actually turned all the way to the dark side, and Darth Malak, we see him with like a Darth Vader type of mask, because he had no jaw. But the reason he has no jaw is because of Darth Revan. He went to kill Darth Revan, or Revan, in his sleep, and Revan was so in tune with the Force that he felt them approaching him, and he went to block Darth Malak and missed and hit him in the face, and completely obliterated his jaw. So
By accident.
Which the whole story of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi trying to kill Ben Solo, that whole scene is taken from Revan and Malak. It just, obviously they couldn't disfigure Luke Skywalker. That car accident in the 70s did that. But the fact that they use that as reference, it's, which is my least favorite Star Wars movie, but it was my favorite scene because it came back to that. So that's and then going back to Revan, he turns back into the light side, and when he's fighting, he mastered both light and dark side. So in mid fight, he can use either one. So that's why, to me, Revan is such a badass character, and he's not even in the movies.
It's a shame. It's a shame that he's not canon right now. And
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Well, they made him canon
Yeah, he's canon now.
because in The Rise of Skywalker, they talk about the Knights of Ren. They talk about the Knights of Revan and the Knights of Malak. So they made both. They referenced both of them, and for instance, for that reason, they are canon now. So they are able to use them. They are going to introduce them eventually in the future as part of the Star Wars.
I obviously missed that part because I
heard his
really
name
like
and
this.
I got a hard on. It's fine.
I might have to force myself to rewatch those because I don't like them all that much.
Force yourself. Get it. As long as you don't choke yourself, it's fine.
No, but that's the thing though. Like the scene that you reference, in you said The Last Jedi.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, based off of that interaction between Revan and Malak, but to be honest though, it didn't work for that movie and those characters because it completely goes against everything that we know Luke Skywalker's character to be.
Well, we also did see that from the point of view of Kylo. So I get what you're saying, but at the same time, Kylo, he's a Gen Z. He's the embodiment of Gen Z. So seeing someone trying to help him, but not the way that he wanted to be helped, might look like he's against him. But carry on.
And that's the thing though. It's like you're walking up to a character that you're supposed to be training because of a vision that you had of him turning to the dark side, and then you make the decision to kill him, and that's not something that Luke Skywalker would do. And it does
you don't
not
go
make
from like,
sense
oh,
to
he's gonna make a mistake to like,
no,
I'm just gonna eliminate him completely from the equation.
No, everything that we know about Luke he would have, I believe, made a different decision. He would have tried to help him and steer him towards steer him towards the right path, and prevent those visions from coming true. Right. And so, and then going back on what you were saying, it's like going back to the light. But yeah, they did retrain Revan as a Jedi, but after his mind was wiped.
Right.
So he had his memory erased of all that stuff that happened to him. And then some other stuff happened. I gotta brush up on that because I'm forgetting a lot. But yeah, no, Revan is definitely a very, very good character based on the life that he's had.
And it's a shame that he hasn't been on the big screen yet.
And he will. I think he will.
Give it time.
Yes.
Give it time.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we talked about our favorite character in Star Wars, who your favorite villain is from history? It could be Disney, doesn't matter. I just want to know what your take is and why they are your favorite character or your favorite villain. Please.
I would have to say my ultimate favorite villain has to be the Joker. The reason why I love the Joker is because he's crazy. And I think we all have a little crazy in us. And I think sometimes you could fantasize a little bit how crazy you can get, I guess. So it brings that out of you, you know, where you're just like
not watching this.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm. He's crazy. He has no motive. You know, he just wants to see the world burn, right? And he's obsessed with seeing Batman become corrupt. You know, so and he's got absolutely nothing to lose. You know, most villains they get them by getting them or targeting what they can lose. And the Joker just doesn't have anything to lose.
Right.
So it just makes him, and then his identity is not known. You know, there's been iterations of him that, you know, that gives a backstory of the Joker, but in reality, the Joker, he doesn't have, like, even in the Dark Knight, they couldn't find his database with fingerprints, nothing. Like, he's an unknown person. He's just, you know, and I love that about him because there's absolutely nothing you could get on him. And it just makes it for a great villain.
No doubt. He's the biggest mystery in not just DC, but anything, you know?
Yeah. He just is.
Right.
He just is. He doesn't have a motive. He doesn't have nothing. He just is.
Well, yeah. I mean, and if you go by the Joker in The Dark Knight, I mean, he says it. He says it best himself. I'm like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one when I caught it. You know?
Right.
He just does things
for
no other reason.
I describe him as, you know, an evil Jesus.
Can you elaborate on that?
The chaotic messiah.
You know, like he's just, you know, sorry, I took an edible and it's getting to me right now. But
hey.
But he's just like he's the exact opposite of Jesus. And I just love that. You know, like maybe he's the devil. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway.
Yadi.
Favorite villain? I'll have to go with Magneto. I was like for being a villain, I always wanted to just have that power, you know, like that power controlling metal, and I don't know. I always liked him. Even in these recent movies. But yeah, I think that he is my favorite villain.
Lola.
I wanted to have his power.
Coincidentally, it's also Star Wars. But hear me out. I'm really into psychology, and when I'm watching movies, I can usually tell why the villains are the villains and whatever the fuck. They usually give you the reason anyways. Emperor Palpatine, what the fuck is the reason? He wants more power. And I know we've talked about this before. He wants more power. Great. Why? Why?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just pure chaos. It's chaotic evil. And I've never been able to understand. So because I don't understand, I think he's my favorite.
I wouldn't necessarily call him chaotic evil. Like he was
He looks pretty evil when he's doing the lightning hands.
Right. I mean, yeah, later on in the series, and then obviously in episode 3, and things like that. But more often than not, like he was the most controlled, manipulating villain that you'd ever seen.
That's
And-
not like scary to you or evil.
I'm not saying
If
it's
somebody
not.
comes to you and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you," but like super calm, would you not be like shitting your pants?
Oh no, it's definitely nerve wracking to a point.
So that's why he's my favorite. It's the control, but also like there's an end goal, but there's no reason why the end goal. He just wants it because he wants it.
He's just greedy. He's just
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he grew up basically being trained by Darth Plagueis. And so he grew up hearing about the Sith's grand plan and the rule of two and all that stuff. But he, I think, also made the conscious decision, because that's why you never saw up until Return of the Jedi anybody, take him down temporarily, as we all well know. Like his entire plan with that, after the grand plan was fulfilled, was to turn it into the rule of one. So he never wanted anybody to usurp him. That's why he went after Darth Maul when he started making too much noise. And then, that's why he did Vader the way he did.
Right.
Right. But after you have all that, what else? What's next? What's the end goal? You got it all. What's next?
That's the thing about villains, that they're power hungry. So
Right.
they're thinking about their goal, their immediate goal, and as soon as they get that, they'll start thinking about something else. But as of what we see in the movies, we see that he wants to take everything. He wants to rule everything. But what else after that? Is he going to be happy after he rules everything?
Well, that's the thing, though. He basically did for, a period of decades. And so
Right.
it was just enjoying the fruits of his labor and maintaining what he had.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I say fruits of his labor, pretty much, he's manipulating everyone to do all this shit for him, because he wants, he's got to remain behind the scenes.
Right.
And
Well,
keep
when you
all that
become
hidden.
well, you become as ugly as he is, you're gonna need power.
And stay behind the scenes.
Jeez, who's gonna want to be with him? Jeez.
That's another thing. He manipulated an entire galaxy to like do his
Yep.
bidding for him. Like that's a pretty good villain in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that he had kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Hey,
Why?
money.
Who?
I'm like,
Who
ugh,
had that? Why?
ugh.
He was a sugar daddy at some point.
Oh my god, his face is just as wrinkly as my ball sack, and it's like, ugh.
And you have
What's
kids.
going on? And I have kids.
Right. So there you go.
That's why you need power. That's why he did it. That's the true reason why he needed all that power.
He wanted all the power and all the money.
Yes, sir.
Justin.
Lord Zed from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I love
That is why
his character.
I before I said what I said, I added Power Rangers, because I knew you were gonna pick Power Rangers.
Even if you didn't mention it, I was going to say it anyway, because whatever, fuck the rules.
Did you like Ooze?
Ivan Ooze.
Ivan Ooze?
His character was actually kind of cool, and the actor that portrayed him did such a good job on that character. It was great. But and so like they stand to me almost equal in terms of like villains, and it was great. I was kind of aggravated, looking back on it now, that they had to kind of tone his character down, Zed, because it was literally giving children nightmares the way his character was written.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and that's what I loved. Like he was so nightmare inducing, and they definitely picked the right actor to play him in Robert Axelrod, the late Robert Axelrod, rest in peace. But yeah, no, his entire character was just amazing.
I agree. I completely agree. My favorite villain was Hitler. I mean,
Oh
Wow.
Okay, Kanye.
No.
What the fuck?
Frieza.
Of course, of course you
Frieza.
would.
Frieza and Majin Buu. Frieza, because it reminds me of
Not Mufasa.
Palpatine.
Shut up, Ryan.
No, not Mufasa, Ryan. Ian is in the chat. What's going on, man? What the fuck was I saying?
Frieza, Majin Buu.
Okay, Frieza reminds me of Palpatine. Frieza wanted to take over the galaxy. And Majin Buu, because all he wanted to do was eat. That's the main story behind Majin Buu. Not Buu, but Majin Buu. Was he was hungry and he wanted to eat everything, and he was childlike tendencies. He just wanted to play. He just wanted to. He was a child.
Mm-hmm.
But he, when it comes to Frieza, we see a whole character development. When you're watching Dragon Ball Z, he is introduced as this character that is just trying to take over. Fantastic. He has his army. Goku defeats him. Fantastic. When we see Dragon Ball Super, the Tournament of Power arc, where he still has these tendencies, but he has to put everything aside because he even though he has his own agenda, he knows that he can't do it without the Z fighters, without Goku at the end of the day. And in the last episode, he straight up tells him, he's telling Goku, like, you shut up, monkey. You don't tell me what to do. And Goku straight up tell him, it's like, hey, you want to get what you want, you have to listen to me. We have to fight together.
Mm.
And he puts everything aside just to win. And like I said, this character development of Frieza, which actually gets thrown out the window in the Broly movie, but it's. I think the Frieza is one of the best villains that we've ever seen because he's just ruthless. He doesn't care who it is. He doesn't care if his own people, like his own army, you betray him, he won't even hesitate. He will murder you, period. And then someone else will take its place.
Well, you don't even have to, like, the people don't even have to betray him. He'll, it's just a lot of times it's just on a fucking whim.
Right.
You just happen to be in his way, between him and whoever he's trying to kill at that moment, you're fucking dead too. So,
right. And the resurrection of F, which is the whole movie that they based around Frieza and him training and wanting to get the Dragon Balls. The reason he went to do that is because he wanted to grow 5 inches. he was trying to gather the Dragon Balls because he knew.
Don't we all want to grow another 5 inches? If you know
I'll do with 1 inch. Then I'll have 2. So with him just seeing that he could get whatever he wants, but he knows that the Z fighters are in his way. He knows that the best next thing is him being taller. It's just, I think that like I said, his character development is fantastic.
Mm.
And seeing all his transformations is just
didn't he
crazy.
have a transformation that was taller than everything else?
Yeah, but he didn't like it because it didn't look as cool as everything else. They actually explained that. And it's like, I look too much like my father, he said. So, and it's I think it's Frieza's second form, that he's taller and he just looks like King Cole. Mecha Frieza was fantastic, but he lasts half an episode.
Yeah. Ryan in the chat, my favorite villain is Lesser Lewis.
Ryan, go suck a dick. He said, matching boo? Thought that was when you wear matching outfits to a theme park with your girlfriend. You mean my wife, asshole.
Matching boo. That's funny.
All right. So, you guys have anything else? You have a another villain that you would like to introduce or talk about before we go on?
So I like sophisticated gentlemen. They tried to kill Nasser today, but they can't kill my hype for this episode. So we could talk about Larry Nasser and how big of a villain he is, and he got stabbed today. That was pretty awesome.
Oh shit! Let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, you guys don't know about that story?
No.
Yo, Yadi is in Lansing, so he's
Yeah, this guy, he was a university gymnastic trainer or something like that.
Doctor. He was a doctor, yeah.
He abused a lot of girls. And he was on trial a few years ago. I think it was a few years ago, right in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously he's arrested and whatnot, but he got today he got stabbed a few times. I'm surprised he's not dead, but
Yeah.
he got a little bit of what he deserved for sure.
I was gonna say, not usually what we talk about here on the podcast, but I would say fitting end for a person like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the comments I saw on Facebook was like, he said, "Well, now he knows what it feels like getting poked without consent."
Damn. Damn. Oh,
that was messed up. That was messed up.
All right. So we're gonna go on a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Lola's theories, or would you rather? Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Please don't go. Alrighty. That was a good segment, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the Nerd Archive podcast. This is Luis. With me, as always, Yadi, Lola, Justin, and our special guest today, Luis, my cousin.
Hey.
And yeah, we are going to have Lola's theories. So, Lola, please take it away. Do you have any theories today? Or would you rather?
I have 2 theories and a would you rather.
Ooh,
So for
nice.
theory number 1, it's for Men in Black. And it's about how basically Jay is accidentally like causing people to murder each other with the neutralizer. One example that they have is for, that guy that lives in the attic with his girlfriend and he neutralizes them and then he starts saying that like, hey, you're gonna like move out, you're gonna like take your girlfriend on a shopping spree or something along those lines. Nebulizer. Thank you. But when he finishes that conversation, the guy immediately stands up, screams for his mom, and grabs a shovel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the
shit.
shovel.
As you were saying it, I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah. So there's that. And then for theory 2, that the Terminators are more aware and more sentient or sentient.
Sentient. Yeah, sentient.
Thank you. Beings that we believe or that we realize, and there's 2 examples for this. One of them being is in T2 when the T-800's ship is reset and he becomes more human. And then for the second one is for Terminator Dark Fate when he chooses a more peaceful life after his link to Skynet is shut off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Dang.
it might be one of those of like free will, being that they're
Right.
AI, might be one of those of like free will versus like you're doing my bidding.
Right.
Yeah.
When we were picking the super villain or the villains, the favorite villains, I almost said T-1000 because that whole premise of that villain was fantastic. He can just turn into anybody that he wants, like
Oh,
going back to
absolutely.
the scrolls.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was, and doesn't matter what you shoot at him, he will always come back. The only way that you can beat him is melt him. I'll be back.
To milk them?
Melt.
Milk.
No,
Milk.
milk him.
Don't milk the metal man, please.
All right.
And then for the would you rather,
Yes.
there's 2 options as always. Option number 1 is toxic or acid creation, but you're not immune. Or energy blast, but only when you're around a source of power. So if you're not around a source of power, then you're basically powerless.
Which is me all the time, so I picked that one.
Yeah. I
Because
want
I will build a house in a close to a generator.
That's fair.
I'll go with the energy blasts.
Energy blast.
Yeah.
This goes back to
Build yourself a battery package you can wear on your back, and there you go. You're powering yourself for at least a little
solar
bit.
panels, Tesla batteries. Yeah.
You guys are
He's gonna be wearing an interstate battery in his back. Just jumper cables on his nipples, just as a source of power.
Unlimited power.
Ian in the chat, go to New York and become an atom bomb.
That's a good
well,
point.
that's what I was going to say. Like, you guys everybody is near power sources all the time. You don't have to go that far.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to connect my iPhone to my asshole.
It's always about your butthole, dude.
Correct.
I feel like that Freud dude would have a blast with you.
Oh, blast. Yes.
Yeah.
It's 2023. It happens.
It does.
Ryan, yes, I will milk you.
Ryan in the chat, you don't already have an iPhone up there?
I have 3 and an iPad. Thank you. All right. So, do we all pick blast?
Yeah, that's what
I believe so. Yes, everybody. The general consensus was blast.
Fantastic. I'm having a blast today. All right. So if you guys don't have anything else, this concludes today's episode. We talked about the Secret Invasion, our favorite villains, and our favorite Star Wars characters, and our theories, and Would You Rather, which we all picked. Blast. Fantastic. All right. Thank you guys for everything. Make sure you go on our website, thenerdarchive.com. Make sure you also join our Discord so you can be part of our amazing community. Every Saturday, we do game night. We don't record those because we show ourselves. Not that didn't come out right. We show who we are.
It gets raunchy.
It does. So if you have a dark humor, make sure that you join our game nights. If you don't, make sure you join our Discord and tell us things about yourself, why you are a nerd, and your favorite characters. Why not? And also, we have a specific channel on our Discord. Ask the Archive. We will ask. Actually, I think we have one. So I want to see if yes. Okay. Would you join a gang or a cult? Yes or no question.
Yes or no?
Would you join a gang or a cult?
Being from Chicago, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? I'd rather join a gang.
You know, it's funny. I was telling the story to Sarah the other day how I used to wear a lot of Echo brand in the early 2000s, and it's pretty much everything I wore, really.
South Pole, baby, right here.
Yeah, South Pole and Echo. But Echo uses a lot of crowns, and I remember I had this jacket that I bought. It was reversible, and it looked fantastic. And it
Is
had
this the brown jacket?
yes.
I hate it. I hated it.
It's fine. I loved it. So it was brown on one side, and on the other side it had a bunch of prints and things like that. And I remember Luis told me, "You do not wear that around here." And I'm like, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, you have there's a lot of crowns, and the problem is not that it has crowns, which is an issue, because we have two gangs. We have the Latin Kings and the Anti-Kings." And if you wear crowns, the Anti-Kings are going to think that you're a Latin King. And if you have the upside down crown, the Latin Kings are going to think that you're an Anti-King. And you have both. And anybody that wears anything like that, you're immediately in a gang. So you cannot wear that because you're going to get shot. And I'm like,
you're going to get labeled.
Yeah.
You're going to get labeled.
Yeah, but I'm going to get labeled right in the middle, and I don't want to be I don't want to be between two gangs. That sounds fun, if you know what I mean. But I don't want to.
What type of gang? I mean,
well, bang. What? So I didn't wear it at all. I wore it as soon as I got back home. But I did not want to get shot at 11 years old.
I got suspended from school one time because I had an Echo shirt and it had a I'm talking about tiny 5-point crown, and I got suspended.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Well, they didn't want the smoke, you know.
That's it.
They knew what it meant. They didn't want to bring that. He looked like he's from a gang. He's Puerto Rican. I don't know.
That's probably why they changed the logo to a rhino.
Well, well, yes, but no. They still had at this point. They already had the rhino, but their main thing is all their prints have crowns.
5-point crowns particularly, which is kind of
right.
Weird.
And they changed it to the 3-point crown now.
Mm-hmm.
Or not now, obviously, because they're not a brand anymore.
I remember our Echo days.
Yeah. It's funny because I never liked like really baggy clothes, even though that's what South Pole and Echo were. And I always went to the kids section and I got a large, so they were fitting instead of like extra huge.
See, me being a bigger dude, it never looked that big on me. It looked like nice, you know?
Right.
Yadi. But what he's not telling you is that he was a big kid.
Yeah, listen, motherfucker. I'm talking about after I hit puberty.
He was this little chubby kid with tight shirts.
After I hit a certain height that I became skinny. Now I'm at the same height, but I'm fat again. So it's just and you talking. You know they say that cameras put 5 pounds on you, but how many cameras you got on you?
Bro,
know?
I got like 1,000 cameras right now.
Yeah, dude. Like, God damn. It's like you look like the thing that ate Luis.
Bro. I got big hips now. I'm waiting for Christian Haydenson to grab my hip.
Hey, that's my man.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, damn. God damn. All right.
Oh
God. Shit, we waited until the end just to be assholes to each other. We made it. Hey, we made it.
We did.
Maybe we'll do a one episode that's just a roasting session.
Man,
I can't have my wife here. She's a Jew. With that being said, thank you for everything. You guys are fantastic. Don't forget to be yourself and stay nerdy. See you next week. Deuces.
Okay, bye.
Bye.